Time to be on the Citizen Business Center tonight. Of course, first quarter numbers looking quite good so far. About 30,000 more guests than we had at least the first quarter of last year.
Yes.
But there's quite a lot happening within the political space. How is that affecting your numbers?
Well, first of all, there is hope for tourism. There is already a 14% increase in the first quarter. Already our speculation or projection up to October, we have a 27% confirmed bookings for the country. The challenge is that if we temper with that, tempering is that if there is political instability or there is any bad press about Kenya. So far, whatever has happened in the political space has given us negative publicity. As early as yesterday, even the arrest of the politicians has been all over the international news. So that is negative for us. So it brings fear into the market and then becomes a worrying situation. Do we go to Kenya or not? Already we are already being forgiven for the 2008 incidents. If we repeat it again in 2017, then definitely we are going to be shut down as a country and be branded. This is not a country that can be reliable.
But what do you read out of the last few weeks and the protests around the IEBC? Of course, we've seen some of those pictures on the international platforms. Have you seen any responses so far in terms of cancellations?
First of all, I don't expect to talk to the international media and tell them don't put these pictures, because the headline in the local media, all the media, was scary. On that day, on the first demonstration, I was out of the country and I went through the internet. I saw what the local print media was doing. I was scared as a Kenyan. Is it safe? So I had to start calling into the country and see, is everybody okay? So that already brings fear.
Are you saying the media is blowing it out of proportion?
I think we can manage it. I believe the media should be given the freedom to air what is real, but we can manage it. Instead of putting a whole page and showing flames, then that brings fear that the country is burning. If you have a small picture in the front page and say there's this incident, I think we will be forgiven about it. But then whatever is being printed here also gets printed overseas, and then the social media walks in, then brings fear to the traveler who wants to come to Kenya.
So what are your biggest fears now that we are already almost within the campaigning season? We're a couple of months away from the election. Kenya's name on the international space in as far as elections are concerned.
I have a checklist, Terian, on issues which we can make this country improve in tourism.
Do share with us.
That checklist, one is first investment into infrastructure, which the government has done very good in this budget, and also before, investment in security. 320 billion for defense and security is a lot of money. And already over a year now, touch wood, nothing has happened in terms of attacks or bombing into the country. So that is positive. So people are coming to understand, said, okay, it was an incident like any incident could have happened in Belgium or in Paris. But now we are coming to the insecurity, instability of the country. Does this country has a future? Are we going to repeat the post-election violence of 2008? Are we going to have the ICC issue back? All those negative are worrying us. But in terms of product development, the industry now has been also supportive. They are willing to work and improve the product. We have given waivers of VAT, bringing the cost of and making the product affordable. I'm working with the county government to see they develop their own products. For example, I want to congratulate Ergeo Marakwet. We went to Rimoi. We launched a conservation area, a park, a reserve, where it can attract wildlife and also tourists to go to that area. We are not going to do it as a national government. We want to encourage the county government to do product development. For example, if we want to improve Nairobi and make it a safe destination and to make it as a product, why don't we do Westland and make it a 24 hours and clean it and put cabro and put flowers and put light and put CCTV? That already will improve the image of Nairobi. When we go to Mombasa, we do the same at the waterfront in Mamangina Drive. Improve it and do all those positive things. It becomes a Kilindini waterfront in the coast. That's another new product. In Kisumu, we do cruise ships on the lake. It's the only lake where people do not cruise on the lake. And that can be done very easily, and it's not very costly, it's very affordable.
So CS, how come then, there's all of this incredible, sites within the counties, but we're not seeing it? I just found out the other day that there's a national park in West Pokot, and it actually has the biggest elephants in Africa. Why isn't West Pokot, for instance, not doing anything about that?
I think devolution is going to benefit that, because then there'll be product development by the communities, by the counties. Instead of us concentrating on Masai Mara and the coast and Mount Kenya, this is going to turn. But people also think that product development is doing a cultural festival. Every county in the country is doing a cultural festival. For example, marathon. Why do we have to do marathon all counties? Yeah, for example, a group of Mount Kenya tourist operators came to me and said, we want to do a Mount Kenya marathon. I said, why Mount Kenya marathon? Why don't we create a 1 month a festival of climbing Mount Kenya? Why don't we do, instead of doing a marathon in Kakamega Forest, why don't we do a 1 month festival of camping in Kakamega Forest to look at the forest? Yeah, so we change these copy and paste and copying from others what they have done. We can create new products without a lot of effort, because they are available in the counties.
Let's talk about this new products, and I know that you have been very keen on meetings and conferences within the MICE segment, so to speak, but the feeling is that Kenya has not taken advantage of the opportunities that came, with the GES, with the Pope being in Kenya, where about 1 million people were supposed to expected in Nairobi. We've got UNCTAD coming in, we've got TICAD as well. Is your ministry taking advantage to build the MICE?
Well, the big conferences are created through bidding. So our ministry, through the KICC, we go and pitch for these conferences. So it is both government efforts and KICC go and bring conferences into the country. They don't just happen. It takes almost 3 years to plan them to happen. So the big conferences that are being supported by government is very beneficial for the economy. Yeah, but we need to do more, yes.
Are you worried about Rwanda, for instance? They are building what will be the largest conference center in Eastern Central Africa.
Well, I am worried that we need to do much more than what we are doing, because if we delay, we'll be overtaken by our neighbors. And that's why tourism today has gone down, because we stagnated in developing tourism. We thought it would just happen because we were the champions and allowed new neighbors to come and compete with us. That's why they become more attractive, and we became, as an old destination, and tired, and then we became expensive. So that is a challenge that we need to balance. At the moment, the government has done a lot of efforts in terms of giving incentives, investing in tourism, so that it can become affordable, and then refresh the product. But the key element, Terian, is we need to refresh the image of Kenya. It's not about tourism alone. It's the whole image. Is it a safe destination? So for example, if I tell anybody in Europe or anywhere I go, I'm from Kenya, they're already in an illusion of imagination, of fantasy. They want to go to a safari. They want to come. It's a dream place. Yeah? But is it safe? That's the second question. Is it the right product? Does it have the right infrastructure? Is it a modern country?
And when you speak with these people, CS, what are they saying about the security situation? Is it still an issue they are worried about?
I think what's happened in Belgium and Paris of late has helped us. So it's not a unique issue to Africa or to Kenya. It can happen anywhere. And because government has taken initiatives into all these measures of CCTVs and investment in the police and increase of the numbers, yeah, people have seen that we are serious about it. So they have taken us, yes, these people are managing the situation. If we manage the situation, people will tell us yes, they will forgive us. But when it repeats every day, and that's why I'm worried about the elections coming in, that if we don't manage ourselves in a decent manner and civilized manner, and we repeat 2008, I can guarantee you, we forget about tourism as a part of the economy, because it will never revive. You can see countries like Tunisia. Yeah, this because tourists were attacked directly. The beauty about Kenya, tourists are not targeted. Yeah, it's just an incident.
But it happened in Lamu, though.
That is 5 years ago. So people are starting to forget about it, because we have taken action about on that incident.
All right, CS, you were given 4.5 billion in this the new budget, and the consensus seems to be, at least from stakeholders within the tourism sector, is that the government is not taking tourism seriously by just giving you only 4.5 billion shillings. And I want to get your sentiment around that.
Well, first of all, 4.5 billion is not enough money to market Kenya and position Kenya correctly. But the government has done an effort. For the first time, we are getting a normal budgeting process of 4.5 billion. We have never got that amount of money any time in our history. Second, the government has imposed a new levy that will be collected for tourism promotion and development. $10 for every departure passenger out of Kenya. So that will raise another 6 billion into the sector, and then we will have enough resources to market. We just need to change the way we did business before, because it's not going to work. We need to be proactive and modern, and also portray the Kenya that is modern, not the Kenya that is just trying to be like any other African country.
And how do you intend to do that?
Well, we have to re-strategize our marketing strategy. Yeah.
Can you share with us?
So what we have done is that we have just advertised for national strategy, tourism strategy, and then we will come to the marketing strategy. And mine is to say that because we have a resilient source market, traditional markets, we are going to focus on that until we recover. Recovery is up to June 2018. After that, then we will go into focus into the new markets. It doesn't mean now from today we don't look at those new markets, but we're not going to invest heavily until we recover fully. Yeah, because the resilient market are the market which supported us through the difficult times of our period. So the strategy has to change. We need to change the way we market. We need to change the way we advertise, and particularly to consider that the continent of Africa is a big market and we have ignored it. Let me accept, we have ignored it. So we are spending 250 million Kenya shillings on marketing Kenya in the continent, and another almost 150 million to market Kenya, Kenyan tourism to domestic market.
And I'm interested about Africa for a moment, because it was interesting to see that Nigerians are actually now visiting Kenya a lot more as tourists than they have for the last many years. Which African countries are you looking to market, apart from East Africa, which of course is our biggest market for tourism, so to speak? Well,
East Africa is very key because of the trade as well. So we have Uganda and Tanzania and Rwanda, but we want to go beyond that, and we have seen the figures of 6% increase in the Nigerian market. And why? Because there is accessibility of flights into Kenya. So Kenya Airways has done a great job to open up the Western Africa. Kenya Airways has a great job to Central Africa and to the Southern Africa. So another big market we are looking is Southern Africa. And on the 1st of July, Kenya Airways is going to launch Nairobi, Livingstone, Cape Town. So that is a good market that we are going. I'm going to go in July to launch that market, and I think it will help us a great deal, because already the #1 African country coming into Kenya is South Africa. Yeah. So we are going to target that, but there's bigger opportunity in the rest of the continent, because it has a spending power. It's young population, they want to travel. But I also tell the industry, don't take Africans for granted. Don't give them substandard. Yeah? And please, let's be innovative in the product, so that we don't just give them a product for young, dynamic clientele to an old clientele that we used to receive in the 80s and 90s.
Talking about young and dynamic clientele for the tourism sector, how has the local or the domestic market supported the industry so far? Because there seems to be a feeling that it has been all talk, and last year's budget, where the CS said he's going to waive taxes for companies that take their staff on holiday, did it have any impact?
Well, first of all, we need to bring a culture of traveling, and that is a key component on holiday making. So we need to start to travel, because normally when
Kenyans don't travel, huh?
Well, the impression is that when we travel out of our workplace, we shall go. And what we do there, we just drink beer and nyama choma, and nothing else. So we don't see the country, and we don't experience. But I want to congratulate the young population in Kenya, the young people. They are inquisitive, they are curious, they want to travel to see. All the lifestyle, the nice lifestyle in Nairobi and in Mombasa and in Kisumu is being created by the young Kenyan population. So when you go to these places where you see an influx of local tourists coming in, these new restaurants and bars and places are opening up every day. Even the budget hotels are starting to open up in all these areas. So it's not about just the 5-star and the 4-star or the Mzungu clientele we are looking at. No, I think we have not done enough for the domestic market. I have instructed Kenya Tourism Board to look at that seriously, so we're coming with a proper policy of how to entice the domestic market.
Thank you so much, Najib Balala, the Cabinet Secretary for Tourism. Thank you so much for making time to be on the Citizen Business Center tonight.
Thank you very much.